down at a restaurant and you're just about to get served your meal that you paid hard-earned money for when a person in the next booth lights up a cigarette. The smoke lingers over to your table, ruining the taste of your food, the smell of your food, and generally ruining your mood. Smoking in public should be prohibited because it's not only bad for the smoker, it's bad for the people who have to inhale, are forced to inhale the secondhand smoke, and it sets a bad example for young children. Smoking is proven to be bad for smokers. On every pack of cigarettes, by law, must be printed a Surgeon General's warning, and it says, quitting smoking now greatly reduces risks for serious health risks. This was taken off a pack of Camel Red Lights, and the statement, the Surgeon General's statement varies from different pack. Like Marlboro would have a different statement than Camel, and this was a really general statement, but it doesn't change the fact that it has to be there, and yet people ignore it and still smoke. There are over 400,000 people who die of smoking a year, smoking-related diseases. Diseases that you can get from smoke include cancer, which is a huge one, lung cancer. You can get emphysema and stroke and heart disease. These are all things that can be caused by smoke. And still, knowing that, people smoke. People who smoke have a right to smoke. Although I think smoking should be illegal, they still have a right, and they can do so if they so choose. But they do not have a right to jeopardize non-smokers' health and force them to choke down the toxic smoke. Secondhand smoke, which is also known as environmental smoke, is the third leading cause of preventable death in the country. It kills 53,000 people a year, non-smokers, that's just people who don't smoke themselves, a year. And secondhand smoke contains 4,000 chemical compounds, that many of which have harmful carcinogens in them. And carcinogens are chemicals that are proven to be cancer-causing. And according to the 9th report on carcinogens 2000, published by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, you also inhale mustard gas, vinyl fluoride, arsenic, alpha toxins, asbestos, and benzenol against your will. The only loser in prohibiting smoking in public places would be the tobacco industry. Of course, they have the fear that people wouldn't be able to smoke at restaurants and bars and offices, and then their productions and sales would go down. They are so afraid of this that they have even gone to the extent of 2 projects, which they call Project Stealth and Project Ambrosia. These 2 projects' sole purpose is to cut down to kind of hide secondhand smoke. What they try to do is eliminate the irritancy, the aroma, and the visibility of secondhand smoke so that'll be more socially accepted and so that you can smoke in public places, but this doesn't cut down the harm. While you can't smell it and feel it and taste it, it's still just as bad for you, and they're still working on ways to cut down on that too, but nothing has come up yet. So it's almost worse. So you're still getting these horrible toxins in your body that you just don't know about it. You aren't as aware of it as if you could smell it. Restaurants are also afraid that people won't come and sit and eat at their restaurants if smoking is not allowed, because a lot of people do smoke. This is a false fear, because a while ago there was, of course, drinking and driving laws have been strengthened, and you can't drink unless you're in the bar in some restaurants, and bartenders also have the authority to cut you off if they think you drank too much. And even with all these new restrictions on drinking alcohol, people still came to restaurants and they thought they wouldn't. So it kind of just proves the fact that not allowing smoking would lower their sales. People still patronize these areas after the alcohol. Prohibiting smoking in restaurants and bars and offices just reinforces the fact that smoking is bad. It's bad for everyone, the people who do it and those who don't. Smoking-related diseases don't discriminate. They affect young, they affect old, and they really will affect any race. Anybody can die from cancer or heart disease. Common sense tells us that prohibiting smoking will cut down sales and it will cut down production of tobacco, which which is really a step in the right direction of completely eliminating it, which is something I would love to see happen. Children who breathe secondhand smoke are much more likely to get diseases such as asthma and cancer. But not only that, they have a much higher risk of starting smoking at younger ages and starting period. Children who live in households with secondhand smoke, it just really increases their chances of both starting and dying from smoking. It just sets a bad example for young kids, impressionable children, because I have two cousins who really, really look up to me, and if they saw I was smoking, they probably think it was okay, and they might then start. And I wouldn't want to be the cause of somebody else smoking. It even, in Montgomery County, policemen, firemen, and rescue workers are on the verge, it's being discussed that they might not be able to smoke on and off duty. This means that when they clock out, they can't go outside and have cigarettes. It even goes to the extent of not being able to smoke in their own homes. And this is because young children look up to people like that. They look up to people in those positions. When I was young, I wanted to be a firewoman, and if I saw a fireman smoking, I might think, a fireman's a good person. He saved lives. He's smoking. That must be okay. And so it's just a really bad example for young people. Also in Montgomery County, there's a $100 fine for people smoking, both in indoor and outdoor public places. Indoor places include the obvious restaurants, bars, offices, any building that prohibits smoking, and outdoor places include sidewalks, lawns, and parks. If you're seen just walking down the street on a sidewalk smoking a cigarette, then you're slapped with a $100 fine that must be paid. And even in your own lawn, if you're in sight smoking cigarettes, a $100 fine. That just proves that this isn't a crazy, undoable idea, prohibiting smoking in public places. It proves it can be done, and that it should be done. For those of you who are smokers or aren't smokers, you need to take a stand and let your voice be heard on public smoking. Don't let your health and safety be in the hands of others. And for those of you who are smokers, you should, given the facts that you've heard, you should think twice before lighting a